Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What is up? 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 What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your man Jelani J.B. Bodie back in the building once again, and this is the Wait a Minute show. Um, let's first start with like, subscribe, turn on those notifications and everything, and holla at your boy, man. And comment if need be. Put in whatever it is that you need to put. I'm rolling dolo again. Mo, he's out somewhere on the island, living it up, living good, and everything. So I can't be mad at that. But Mo will be back at a later date, and we'll chop it up. But what we're going to chop it up today is that week 2 of the NFL almost in the books, because I guess when you see this will be after the Monday night fiasco between the Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles. But week 2, we're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to get into some college football, WNBA, big accomplishment by a WNBA player, and among other things, right? So let's first start this thing with what we got. Hey, my reaction. So some reactions to week 2 of the NFL. We got some teams, some shockers, if you will, out there with some wins. I think, I'm not surprised, but I think some people will be surprised that Minnesota beat the San Francisco 49ers, but they beat them last year as well. Actually, you could say, they beat them with not as many guys as they had last year. So I'm not shocked, on that. But one thing or two teams that I really want to talk about. Let's first get into the elephant in the room, right? The Dallas Cowboys, right? So we know everybody saw how they got dismantled at home by the New Orleans Saints to the tune of 41, I think 19, somewhere around there. And Alvin Kamara went off for 4 touchdowns. And it's just the New Orleans Saints couldn't do anything wrong. The Dallas Cowboys could not stop them. Now there's questions, right? There's questions. You had questions before the season began. They got to win against Cleveland, so maybe that tempered some of those questions, but they're right back in the forefront once again with this loss, which was a bad loss at home to the New Orleans Saints. So I've been talking about the Dallas Cowboys since time began. It hasn't changed, is that this team is good. But they have these hiccups. They have these, situations. Now, this happened in the playoffs last year, and you don't want this to happen. But I will say this. This is a real quick look in the mirror for the Dallas Cowboys early into the season. And they have to decide, what are we going to be and who are we going to be? Because this is out on tape now. This is out. Alvin Kamara running crazy on your team, and you can't sit there and not expect that other teams are going to pick up and try and pick up the tendencies and follow suit on what the New Orleans Saints did to the Dallas Cowboys. So I was thinking maybe this point would come maybe around week 7, 8, 9 or something like that. But look, uh, New Orleans went on a 80-yard drive. I think 70. I think they did like 2 or 3 70-yard drive and a 69 yard drive, on this. So these are long drives that, that they're doing, other than the one to Shaheed where they went for it all in one fell swoop. But the Cowboys were one dimensional. And looking at this game, the one thing that you have to be good in the run game. They didn't get too much from Vaughn, Dowdle, or Ezekiel Elliott. So if you're not getting anything for your run game, if you remember previously when Zeke was in his heyday or whatever, establishing that run did tremendous, a world of a difference, for that team. So it's not only on the defense, because I saw, the defense, nobody, they couldn't stop anybody, out there. And again, it made, the Dallas Cowboys one dimension where they had to throw the ball. Were they missing some guys? Yeah, but everybody's missing, people, or you can't use that as an excuse. But for the Dallas Cowboys to bounce back, they're really going to have to figure out this run game. If they do not figure out the run game, just for their offense, I'm not talking about defense. If they do not figure out the run game, then you put Dak Prescott in a situation, in a position that you really do not want him to be in, and that's throwing the ball all the time. because every time you throw the ball, there's a risk that's involved. And the more times you throw the ball, the more risk. So you don't want to go too far into, the up in the ranks of, how often that you're passing. You want to have something balanced, right? Especially if you're trying to close out a game. So defense, they got some work to do. Offense, they got some work to do. Everybody got some work to do, on this team, but better make it fast, better make it quick, because you got some other teams that's lined up and they are probably salivating at the mouth right now because they want to see the Dallas Cowboys, and make them regret it. Moving on to the second thing, which is the Kansas City Chiefs, right? They win a close one against the Cincinnati Bengals, and look, by all by all means, Cincinnati had that game won. They made mistakes, and Kansas City benefited from it, but they made them also pay, for it as well when they made those mistakes. Not only just the last one, I think the kid was Fowler or Anthony, I think is his last name with the pass interference, but there were some other penalties in there that helped the Kansas City Chiefs out. So this isn't going anywhere. I don't think so. Well, maybe. Just wait for what I'm going to be talking about later with the Bengals, but I I think the biggest thing that comes from this, other than hey, the Chiefs found a way, to win another game, is that how are they going to find ways to win games going forward without Isaiah Pacheco? So Pacheco is out at this point. Has I think a broken fibula or partially broken or whatever, but it's his fibula. Let's just say that. And he's going to be out for an extended period of time. They're looking probably 2 months, I guess, is the max. He could come back earlier than that. Depends on how your body is. Everybody's body is different. But how are the Kansas City Chiefs going to move on from this? Look, if there's one team that is resilient enough to overcome these type of challenges, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. You already have the mastermind and Andy Reid, so they're going to figure out, how they're going to move forward. You still remember, you still haven't even gotten the production out of Travis Kelce that you normally would. So you're expecting that, from Travis Kelce. You're going to be looking at guys like a Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, Juju Smith-Schuster. They're all going to have to step their game up because they're missing Hollywood Brown. But at the end of the day, the one thing that you still got that is a mask, is a qualifier, is a maximizer, is an equalizer. I'm using words that I may not even know, but you got 1-5 back there in Pat Mahomes. So that helps tremendously with what you're doing, and you still got your defense intact. Now, I do see that the Kansas City Chiefs have reached out. I think Kareem Hunt is possibly coming in. I wouldn't be surprised if they reached out to Jarrett McKinnon. I know this kid, Carson Steele. I saw him play for UCLA a couple games, and you can tell he's a runner. He's definitely game, and even in that game against Cincinnati, he did a couple good things, made a mistake, with a fumble, but he came back, and made up for it. So I do think that they will still implement Carson Steele. You still got Samaje Perine that's going to be on this team, and everybody's going to play their role, right? And that's one good thing that when you're the Super Bowl champ, you can tell somebody, I just need you to come in and play your position. Just play your position, play your role, and we'll be good because we got 1-5. So I wouldn't panic if I was a Kansas City Chiefs fan. It is something to just keep an eye on. It is something that we need to address. It is something that we need to, smidge worry about a little bit. But at the end of the day, if Pat Mahomes is there, you still got a chance. So those are some things that stuck out to me on week 2. Now, this was just recent, and before we came on, news came out that Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick from last year for the Carolina Panthers, has been benched, has been told to take a seat in favor of one Andy Dalton, right? So here's what I'm going to say, about this as I fix my glasses, ladies and gentlemen, is that I think it's needed. I do think it's needed. Give the kid a little bit of a break. And here's why I'm going to say that, right? He came in, we know last year was not, a great year for him. So we're not even going to talk about that. Coming into this year, didn't get off to a great start. Him, Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels is the only quarterbacks who have not thrown a touchdown so far in these first 2 weeks, right? But both of them still, have week one wins, or week one and week two wins between the two of the previous quarterbacks that I just mentioned. He just threw for only 84 yards in this last game. They only generated 3 points recently. Week one, they generated 10 points. I think this is an investment. This was a major investment. They gave, and when I say they, I'm talking about the Carolina Panthers. They gave away a lot in anticipation of this working out. And I think they owe it to themselves to try and get this right. Now, remember, Dave Canales came into this situation. This is not his quarterback, right? So he I don't think he has the necessary pressures to a certain degree, like Frank Wright would have, being in that situation, being the guy that was there when Bryce got there. So I think Bryce have a seat, sit back, look, check it out, see what Andy does. And that's the great part. You got Andy Dalton, a veteran who has had some success, who has had playoff success, and you can learn from this. But then more than anything, it's not like the backup is a 24, 25-year-old, quarterback and everything. So I don't think Bryce has to really worry about Andy taking his spot long term. Short term, yeah, you want to get back in the saddle because anything could change. I know that. I'm not silly, when it comes to that. But I do think for him, he got thrown into the fire. Things didn't work out. Let's go a different route. Let's go a different alternative. See if this works. Because the last thing that you want is for this to, they're going to be talking, if this doesn't work, they're going to be talking about this is probably going to replace the Herschel Walker trade, as one of the worst trades, out there. And the other thing I don't want to hear anything about CJ Stroud, right? And the reason I don't want to hear it because it's not fair, because CJ Stroud's situation is not the same as Bryce Young's situation. So I know CJ has been balling, and I'm glad that he's balling. Everything he's gotten, he's deserved and everything. But to compare those two with those situations totally being, separate, I'm not gonna do that. That's just one thing I'm not gonna do. But Bryce, the time is ticking though. Let's just be honest. Anybody else, if this investment was put into a player and this is the production that was getting put out, whether it's fair, unfair, or how much is fair, how much is unfair in this business of football, it's all about production. What have you done for me lately? So, what else we got? Let's get into some WNBA. I told you about we got a major, major, major accomplishment, and that comes from Asia Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces. So she broke a record already, but she reached 1,000 points. She is the only WNBA player to score 1,000 points in a regular season. So that belongs to her. Congratulations to Asia Wilson, on that. She's been balling all season, 27-12. And been having a heck of a year. She's going to win MVP. She's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. The team, they're trying to repeat. I think, yeah, three-peat if I remember correctly. But they're trying to win another championship. They won, the previous one last year, but they're trying to win another championship as well. She went to the Olympics, balled out. I think she was the MVP, of the Olympics. This has been a magical year for Asia Wilson, and I think she was a little motivated from last year because Breanna Stewart won it, and maybe she was just like, you know what, I'm gonna have to show them. Yeah, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you, and I'm gonna go up in here and I'm gonna wreck shop, and that's exactly what she's done this past year, and I feel sorry for whoever get the garter in the playoffs because she's going to try and make an example, out of that person. She's trying to, from beginning to end, ladies and gentlemen, she's trying to clean it up and clean everybody up out of there. So congratulations to Asia Wilson on that. Almost playoff time. So we'll be talking about some playoff basketball with the ladies. What else we got? Oh, you know what? There's some teams 2-0. You got Minnesota Vikings 2-0. You got who else is 2-0? Why am I drawing a blank right now? You got the Chargers 2-0. You got the Chiefs who are 2-0. And you got other a few other teams, the Bucks and the Saints, they're 2-0, right? That also means there's some 0-2 teams out there. And we all know with the 0-2 teams that percentage get put out there. I think you got an 8% chance or something like that of making the playoffs. But whatever it is, it's low. All right. So I got some teams in here that are 0-2. I got the Cincinnati Bengals, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the LA Rams, and also last year's AFC rival or championship appearance, the Baltimore Ravens. So all of these teams are 0-2. There are some shockers in there that I did not think we would have as 0-2. So for me, what? Which team, Bengals, Jags, Rams, or Ravens, do I see still being able to make the playoffs? Now, I will say the Bengals, you can't count out the Bengals because it seems like they're here every year, right? They've started out 0-2 multiple times and they made the playoffs. So you got to give them the benefit of doubt, right? You got to give them the benefit of doubt. So just on that alone, Joe Burrow, Chase, they didn't have Higgins and everything. You're gonna have some other now. What you're gonna do, with Joe Mixon not being there because at this point don't look like they've kind of replaced that as of yet, either collectively or even an individual. But they always figure it out. So as long as Joe Burrow is there, I'm going to give them a benefit of doubt. I'm going to say that they can still make the playoffs at 0-2. You got the Jags, right? So the Jags, they haven't been having the success. Look, I thought the Jags after 2 years ago that game, against the Chargers, that I think almost got Brendan Staley fired, which ultimately did start the process of that. I just thought the Jaguars was going to go, to another level, and then CJ Stroud showed up, and everything changed. I don't know where this team is just. I think they're still trying to find out, the identity. 0-2 is not what you want to start out in the AFC. AFC. I'm not even talking about the South. I'm just talking about the AFC because there's just going to be so many teams, on there. So I think the Jacksonville Jaguars might be in trouble trying to climb out of this hole to make the playoffs. The LA Rams, right? Now, if you watched before, and if you haven't, go check out some previous episodes. I was talking about division talk, and I was saying who was going to win the division, and I had the LA Rams winning the NFC West, right? And so now they 0-2 at this point. They lost to the Lions, and obviously they just recently lost to the Arizona Cardinals. And speaking of losing, they continue to keep losing. They losing linemen. They lost Puka Nakua last week. They right now is rumored that Cooper Cup will probably be put on IR as well for his ankle. They lost the safety, I think, it's John Johnson. Like they are losing player after player after player after player. Uh, that's hard to overcome. That's no easy feat to accomplish. So I'm gonna say, I felt strong about the Rams at the beginning, but with these injuries, that really changes my mind on what the outcome will be. So I'm gonna say the Rams kind of, slip off because it's hard to. I mean, your two main receivers are out for a month. That's gonna be tough for the Rams. So I mean, Sean McVay, I know he's a mastermind, and they maybe they can win some games ugly or change up the style because you can give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But I just think it may be just too much to overcome. Last is the Ravens, right? Surprisingly, hey, they really could have been 1-1 if Isaiah Likely Toe was a size whatever he is, 13 or 12 or it was 11 or something like that. Whatever. They could have been 1-1, but they're not. And then they go and the Raiders come to town and they lose a home game to the Raiders. I think they're going to have to get back to a little bit of bully ball, right? Bully ball, ugly ball. I know John Harbaugh said we're not here to give Derrick Henry the ball 30 times. I agree with that. You don't want to wear him down. But In the current status that we are in, I think we need to do whatever it is we need to do to get ourselves out of this hole. Get us out of this hole first. Let's get out first. And then we can start, waning off, on giving Derek the ball. But if that's what it takes, and we got to give Derek the ball that many times to get back into this thing, I think that's what they need to do. Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely, uh, Lamar Jackson, this defense, I don't think I'm not ready to count them out. Right. I don't think, there's certain teams that I do believe that probably can overcome this. So I'm going to say the Ravens are able to overcome this and still get to the playoffs. But uh, I think he'll probably be in a wild card, situation. Again, there's tons and tons of teams that's in the AFC, and some of them are going to fall off. We see teams that get out to a great start, and then things just happen for whatever reason. All are different, and then teams start climbing back into it. So I got Ravens and I got the Bengals making it. Jags, Rams. I don't think it's gonna happen, bro. That's hard. That's hard for them to overcome. Last thing I'm gonna talk about is the heir to the throne, maybe. I don't know. Royalty itself. Arch Manning, right? Arch Manning got into the game when Quinn Ewers went down, got into the game against UTSA, which is University of Texas San Antonio, and the brother went off, right? 5 touchdowns in that game. So now his Heisman chances, has been increased. Everyone's excited. Everyone's been looking for this moment, right? Uh, is Quinn going to be, the quarterback when he gets back? Or could Arch really, really take over on this thing and finish out the season? I don't think that's Steve Sarkisian got a great problem, right? Because we saw what happened last year to Florida State, losing their quarterback and the perception and everything they looked at. So no one is looking at Texas like that. No one is going to penalize Texas. No one is going to have them, take a step back with Arch Manning back there. I do believe that Arch will play as long as they need him to play. And then when Ewers is ready, he will get that position back. I think it will take Ewers being hurt multiple games, and then here's what I think it would take. I think it would take Ewers being hurt out for an extended period of time, which it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But if something happens and he's out for an extended period of time, and they get to the Georgia game, and Arch goes off and gives Georgia the business, I think that would. And let me make sure. And if I remember correctly, because my brain, I'm old at times. So I'm pretty sure that Texas plays Georgia in October. And I should have had this up. I apologize. But I'm going to pull it up here. Is that if they see Georgia and they give Georgia the business, I think that's how they end up staying in there. And here's their schedule right here. Yes, October 19th is when they play Georgia. So they got Louisiana, Monroe, Mississippi State, and then Oklahoma. So and even that Oklahoma game, but I think Ewers will be back, by then. But I think that's what it would take, for Arch to finish out this season, is that if he's just balling out of control, then it's going to be great. Now, let's temper it a little bit. Again, this was not, some of the same quality, competition that we're expecting them to run into. No disrespect to UTSA at all, but it is what it is. So let's just take it easy. I think, this next game, Arch will play. He'll play well, and then let's just take it from there. But Texas got a good problem at this point. So those are my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Again, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, man. Holla at your boy. Put in a comment section whatever it is that you got. I respond. If you see me on there, ask other people. I respond. I do all of that. But until next time, Mo probably be back next time. Actually, you know what? Mo probably won't be back because no, he might be back. He might be back. We'll see. We'll see. Ain't nobody missing, Mo. Anyway, don't tell him I said that. But I'm going to holler at y'all later. Y'all be good out there. Your man, Jelani JB Bodie. I'm out. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.